Hi everyone, thank you for watching this video. My name is Alex Lowe and Assistant Director at the Career Development Center. Today I'm going to share some resume format tips by walking through a graduate student resume sample. Okay, let's look at the sample. First, avoid using an online resume template or resume wizards. Those templates typically do not give you the freedom to edit format. Try to come up with a Word document from scratch. So lengthwise, for graduate students with significant work experience, multiple page is more acceptable. For recent college graduate, a one-page resume is more appropriate. If you have multiple pages, add a page number in the footer. Font, choose a basic, easy-to-read font such as Times New Roman, Cambria, or Arial. Use a font size 10 to 12, except your name. And also when you choose your font, pay attention to how they may appear when they're bold or italicized. Some of the fonts I used to use, they look really neat in the regular font, but when you italicize them, they become really hard to use. Okay, so margin. Keep the margin between 1 inch to a half inch. Use bold, underscore, all cap, and italicized font to highlight the heading and the job titles. As you can see in this document, I use all cap and underscore for section heading, and use the italicized and bold for organization name, and use the bold letters for degree title and the job titles. So although this is not set in stone, generally we recommend listing your job title and organization names to the left-hand side. And keep the dates and location to the right. As I mentioned from my last video, employers usually want to look for job titles first. So list them on the left side to make them easy to spot. For information on the right-hand side, you can use the tab key to line them up neatly. So every time you tap, it moves to the right by half an inch. And so they will be able to line up perfectly. You won't be able to line them up so perfectly using the space key. Okay, so let's look at the actual content. Contact information. You do not need your street address number. And if you want to add your street address, city and zip code will be sufficient. And if you want to list your LinkedIn URL, make sure you customize it first instead of using the default URL, which comes with a bunch of random numbers and characters. Okay, so about summary. For graduate students with significant work experience, you can start with a summary section to highlight the skills that's most notable and most relevant to the jobs that you're applying to. Avoid the listing personal quality or generic skills such as energetic, self-motivated, or result-oriented. Anybody can say that, and it's not going to make an impact. So instead, list specific skills such as ones listed on the sample. Early childhood alternative education, teaching, curriculum design, qualitative quantitative research, program development, cross-function team building, grant writing and fundraising, and a language skill. So this is the most valuable space on your resume, so tailor it carefully for different jobs. Okay, about education. Follow the reverse chronological order. List your most recent degree first. As an option, you can list selected coursework. It doesn't have to be the entire curriculum. You can just list a few most relevant ones. And you can also list research project, research experience, especially if they are relevant to the jobs that you're applying to. Other optional contents under education include awards, honors, study abroad, academic project, if you do not have dedicated sections for them. Okay, so let's look at the work experience. You can have multiple sections of work experience if you want to highlight particular types of experiences. In this sample, the student wanted to emphasize an international student with Peace Corps, so we created a separate international experience and listed first, then followed by other internship and work experience. So for each job, it is optional to give a brief description I like to use italicized font for that. Brief description of the organization or the project before jumping into your task. This can be especially helpful if the organization has a unique mission or maybe serve very specific populations. For the bullet point, the description of your work. Use bullet points to list your tasks and accomplishments instead of writing full paragraphs. Remember, employers scan your resume very quickly and they're unlikely to read entire paragraphs. By using a bullet point to list a particular task and start a bullet point with an action verb, it is easier for your readers to get a sense of what you do in this position. When possible, elaborate specific skills used and measurable accomplishment. A bullet point does not have to be strictly one line, but try to keep it short when possible. I will elaborate more about bullet point writing in my next video. So additional sections: awards and honors, publications, projects, student organization leadership, volunteer work. Those are some common sections to include in your resume. And as a reminder, overall, and after you format your resume, and make sure all the details are consistent. If you want to use period at the end of the sentence, make sure you use them throughout the document. And for dates, and if you want to use a dash to separate the dates, use dash throughout the document, and do not mix up dash and the hyphen. And also have somebody to prove your resume to make sure it's free of any typo, spelling, and grammatic error. So in my next video, I will elaborate more about summary section and the bullet point writing. Thank you for watching. I hope this video gives you some overview and some pointers about resume format.